Number 6, the dreaded investigative task. I'm going to actually read through this one to get the full context. To win a game, a baseball team needs to score runs. To score runs, players need to get on base. The primary way players get on base is by hitting the ball. Figure 1 shows the relationship between the number of hits and the number of runs for 30 randomly selected professional baseball teams. So here we have the scatter plot. In part 1, consider the scatter plot. In figure 1, describe the relationship between the number of hits and the number of runs for these baseball teams in context. If we look at this scatter plot, there is a moderately strong, positive, seemingly linear relationship in the context that would be between the number of hits and the number of runs. I'm going to actually write that up here. Part 2, based on the data from the sample of 30 teams, an equation of the least squares regression line model for predicting the number of runs from the number of hits is as follows. We have the equation here. Using the given regression equation, calculate the point estimate for the predicted number of runs a team would score if they were to achieve their goal of 1,250 hits. Show your work. Runs, and I'm going to put a little hat there to indicate that it's predicted, is just this equation with 1250 substituted in. And that would be 656.55 runs. Part B, each team has a total salary equal to the sum of the salaries of all players on the team. The median total salary for the sample of 30 teams is $160 million. In figure 2, points with dots represent teams with a total salary greater than the median, and points with squares represent teams with a total salary less than the median. Consider the scatter plot in figure 2. Part 1, compare the team represented by the point that is circled and labeled A with the other teams that have the same total salary classification. Now, the salary classification at point A is a square, so that means that they are classified as less than median. So we're going to look at that point relative to the other points that are displayed with a square. So that circled team definitely has the highest number of hits and highest number of runs for all the teams categorized as less than median for their salary classification. So the team represented by the circled point has the highest number of hits and runs for all of the teams in the less than median salary category. Part 2, for each salary classification, consider the linear relationship between the number of hits and the number of runs. For teams with a total salary greater than the median, is the strength of the linear relationship stronger than, weaker than, or similar to the strength of the linear relationship for teams with a total salary less than the median? The teams with greater than the median salary show a slightly stronger linear relationship compared to lower salary teams because the black dots show more of a linear trend than the squares. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope this is valuable to you. If so, drop me a like below. It really helps out the channel. Part C, quite a doozy. Different types of intervals can be used when working with linear regression models. One type of interval is a confidence interval for the slope of the least squares regression line. Two other types of intervals in the context of this problem are as follows. A confidence interval that estimates the mean number of runs for all teams with a specific number of hits. A prediction interval that predicts the number of runs for a single team with a specific number of hits. All three intervals use the same basic formula. Point estimate plus or minus t star critical value times the standard error, where critical value t star comes from a t distribution that has n minus 2 degrees of freedom. The same critical value is used when finding each of these intervals with the same level of confidence. Consider the point estimate for the predicted number of runs found in Part A, Part 2, for the team whose goal is to achieve 1,250 hits next year. Recall that this value was calculated using the linear regression model based on the data from the sample of 30 teams. What is the critical value for a 95% confidence level that would be used for the confidence interval for the mean number of runs as well as for the prediction interval for the number of runs? Indicate the answer to 2 decimal places. So for part 1, it is important to note that the t-star critical value is going to be the same for both of these intervals. The degrees of freedom is n minus 2, so The sample size was 30 teams minus 2 is going to be 28, and we have a 95% confidence interval. So we can use the t-table with 28 degrees of freedom to calculate our t-star critical value. Pulling over our formula sheet, if we scroll down to the t-star critical value, we want 28 degrees of freedom, and thankfully 28 is on here. If we go over to a 95% confidence interval, 28 degrees of freedom gives us a t-star critical value of 2.048. And that's the one we're going to use for both confidence intervals we're going to calculate in parts 2 and 3. So the t-star critical value is 2.048. To 2 decimal places, that would be 2.05. Part 2, the standard error for the confidence interval for the mean number of runs is 1748. Assuming the conditions for inference are met, calculate the 95% confidence interval for the mean number of runs for all teams with 1,250 hits. Show your work. They give you the basic formula up here. So it's our point estimate, which we know is 656.55. We got that from our previous calculations, plus or minus the t-star critical value, 2.05, times the standard error, which they also gave us, is 17.48. So our interval, can quickly calculate it. The upper bound of the interval is going to be 692.384. And then if I just edit this with subtraction, I get the lower. So 620.716. There's really nothing else to do for that one. Part 3, we're going to get the standard error for the prediction interval for the number of runs is 56.78. Assuming the condition for inference are met, calculate the 95% prediction interval for the number of runs for a single team with 1,250 hits. Show your work. Again, we have the same point estimate, which is 656.55, plus or minus the same t-star critical value, but the standard error is bigger, 56.78. And the reason for that's going to come up in the next part. Still have the values in Desmos. All I need to do is change the standard error because everything else is the same. This is going to be the lower bound of the interval. So 540.151. And then just change this to addition. And you get 772.949. And that's it. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this and getting a lot of value for it. If so, would you consider subscribing to the channel? It's free and really helps us out. Now let's move on to part D. Part 1, would a distribution of sample means be expected to have more variability or less variability than a distribution of individual observations? Explain. I'm going to put that down here. Basically, a distribution would have more variability with individual observations than with sample means, because the sample means are using averaging, and averaging reduces variability. Or you can think of it as the means are going to average out the extremes, where individual observations aren't going to do that. Part 2, the standard error used in the confidence interval that estimates the mean number of runs for all teams with X hits can be found using the following formula right here. The standard error used in the prediction interval that predicts the number of runs for a single team with X hits can be found using the following formula right here. In both standard error formulas, S is the standard deviation of the residuals, N is the sample size, and X bar is the sample mean number of hits. Based on the answer from part DI, in the standard error formulas for the confidence interval and the prediction interval, explain why the prediction interval calculated in part CIII is wider than the confidence interval calculated in part CII. So basically, the prediction interval is wider because it predicts for a single team, which is less certain than predicting for the average of all teams. Mathematically speaking, the formula for a single team introduces this extra term of S squared in the calculation for the standard error, which is going to increase the value of the standard error, which consequently is going to increase the variability. And because we use the same point estimate and the same T star critical value of 2.05, the only thing that's changing is the standard error. And since the standard error is larger for a single team, it's going to have more variability than for all the teams. And there you go. I'm interested to know how you felt like you did on the free response section. Drop me a comment below and let me know how you feel like you did and what was the most challenging. All right, guys, that's it for this one. But by the way, if you are considering taking AP Calculus next year, check out my channel. I have tons of videos and resources and lessons and reviews and walkthroughs for AP Calc. I think you'll find it very valuable. Take care.